Do you have the correct feel on how to release the bat? Now, that's one of the most important questions you could have because we know what kind of mechanics we want to have when we're up at the plate, whenever we're working on our swing. But the thing is we always need to make sure we have sensations. This is where drills come in. If we have a good sensation that allows us to get the right mechanics, then we can optimize our ability because we can get into our comfort zone in terms of what we have to do to execute. So I explain this to my students all the time. Online students, my pro guys, everywhere down to players just starting out. If you can sense if something you can relate with can help you get the mechanic, it just gets so much easier from there. So there's a lot of different thoughts of how we get the bat to the ball. For instance, I have some players that like to take their hands to the ball. I have some players that like to take their bat to the ball. Some players like to take their knob. Some players don't think about that at all. They just think about hitting the middle of the ball. There's a million different things, but drill work is a unbelievable way to start developing those feels. And in today's lesson, we're going to show you an excellent drill for developing the feel for releasing the bat. So I tell all my players, releasing the bat, whenever we're swinging, we're essentially throwing this bat without letting it go. That's where the disconnect can go. If I'm going to take a baseball and throw it, I know that I'm going to let this baseball go. So it's very easy to release the ball, let it go. When we release a bat, we're not throwing the bat, but we are having the sensation of throwing the bat without letting it go. Well, in today's drill, we are going to throw the bat. Now, you may have seen this drill in other lessons, or someone may have told you about this, but just like any drill, it is vitally important to make sure that you're doing this drill correctly. If you're not doing the drill correctly, there's so many good drills that if they're done incorrectly, it just makes it impossible to get the sensation. So when we're throwing the bat, we're not going to just throw the bat just to throw the bat. We need to make sure we're doing so with a purpose. So obviously, see, I've got some older bats here. So ideally, do this maybe not on a hard surface. You can do this into a net. You can do this onto a baseball field. And they don't even have to be that hard. It's just about getting that sensation that we talked about. So if I'm going to throw this bat, what I see most of the time is a player will throw this bat way over into the foul territory, and they'll throw it very, very high. Very, very disadvantageous in terms of what we want to try to do when we're swinging. When we're throwing this bat and when we're trying to throw this bat, we want to do a couple things. We want to make sure that we are getting the sensation of throwing the bat. So we're going to get this feel that the bat's coming from behind us and getting thrown. And we want to make sure we're throwing so more in a downward trajectory. When we're hitting, the hitting area from our belt and knees is below our hands. If it's below our hands, then our hand path effectively has to travel down. Now, we know if we follow the Pro Speed Baseball hitting system, how the physics of the swing work, because the bat is going to be pushing against us and pulling down, that we're not actually going to be able to swing down at this ball. It's actually going to net be level to slightly up if we have a direct hand path. But that's okay. We're getting the sensation of a more downward throw with the understanding that that's going to level out. So what we want to see have happen here, we want to get the sensation that we're throwing the ball more at the pitcher's feet. So you can see this bat is going more up the center of the field, going more at the pitcher's feet. What we definitely don't want to do is spike this down into the ground or try to throw this bat a long, long way. So you can see not making any kind of huge swing right here. All we're doing, let me show you one here from face on. Make sure I don't hit anything here, but we're just going to get that same sensation. Now I'm getting a good low trajectory. And again, if I can think about throwing it at the pitcher's feet, I can get the sensation of I'm not trying to throw it too high or too low. And there we go. So that's going to be the idea. So we're getting the sensation of throwing the bat without letting it go. Then once we have a good feel for that, this usually takes maybe about, 10, 15 throws, especially if a player's not used to it. Obviously, I've done it a lot. So it's easy for me to get the right throwing sensation and throw it up the center of the field. But once you start getting it there, let's make sure we're keeping a nice, almost like you're throwing the bat to hit a nice low line drive. Once you've got that sensation, what you're going to do is you're going to get the bat back in your hands. We're not going to throw it, and we're going to get that same feel of throwing the bat without letting it go, so we can get a nice sensation of the release. And there we go. My feel there was I was throwing the bat kind of at a low trajectory at the pitcher's feet and got a great feel of feeling like I'm throwing the bat without letting it go. Now, one of the big pieces of making sure we're throwing this bat correctly is making sure that we're transitioning properly, getting this bat in the right spot to throw from. If the bat gets too steep in transition, we're going to want to throw it way, way to the left. If we get this bat to shallow out properly, then we can release all of our energy through the impact area. Well, I've got a great bonus for you. I'm going to play a preview of one of our all access lessons at the end of this video that's going to show you exactly how to transition properly and give you a great visual, feel, and drill so that you can set up this bat to throw properly down the line. So you're going to want to make sure you check this out because we do not want to be doing the throw the bat drill from the wrong place. So you can see that entire lesson by clicking on the iCard that pops up in the top corner in the preview. And if you don't see that iCard, that's fine. You can click on the link in the description below and it'll take you right to it. We'll see you here in that lesson. If you want to hit great, you have to get into the proper bat lag position. Why is the reason we want this is because it allows us to maximize our bat speed. So our bat cannot get to its highest speed until it gets 90 degrees to our spine. So if my spine is straight up and down, when this bat gets 90 degrees to my spine, that's when it can reach its maximum velocity. Everything in motion is going to seek 90 degrees to its axis when it maximizes its speed. If the bat gets somewhere in this area soon enough, we can now get into the proper bat lag position to release the bat. An improper bat lag position would be above the most common mistake where the bat gets up too high, then it tries to get into the position, and by that time, it's just too late. So how do we train this position? Well, I've got a beautiful drill that's going to show you exactly how to start getting into this transition position, and it's going to be just as simple as understanding the extension of the bat.